Cheers and welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, this is how to fix a stuck fermentation. I'm doing a little mini series and it's all about fermentation, not a lot of videos, but each one's gonna cover something different, from preventing a stuck fermentation and what causes a stuck fermentation. But today, how to fix a stuck fermentation. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Only got 9 items, but that should be enough. First, I'm gonna mention for the newer brewers, sometimes you need to buy things that you don't know you need yet. Let's put it that way. Things like Glucoamylase. Actually, I don't think I've ever used it, but I have it. Yeast nutrient, yeast energizer, you know, things like that. Spare yeasts, different types of yeasts, just in case. It's always better to be over-prepared, if you can. So, also, on a stuck fermentation, sometimes it's very hard to know your fermentation is stuck if it's closer to the end, like it didn't finish to the final gravity you expected. That's where things like floating hydrometers, we've got the tilt, the ice spindle, if I'm saying that right, the wrapped pill, and then I'm dropping them. And then easy dens, you can take samples, check your gravity. I will try to leave links for the majority of these items below. Some may or may not be affiliate, may or may not toss me a few nickels or dimes there. But those are ways I help monitor my temperature, which is huge, because I'm monitoring the temperature of the wort. And I know what my gravity is, or at least really close based on the equipment I'm using. So let's just jump right into this. First, fermentation being stuck is either it didn't ferment, you haven't seen any activity, or it finished early and it's not where it needs to be as far as it quit sooner than it should have. Those are things you need to be aware of. If you're doing ales, I usually say within 24 hours you should see some activity, something. If it's a lager, I'm still a bit of a novice on lagers, and I've only done 3 true lagers, but yeah, those bad boys are in no hurry. You're talking 48 hours sometimes. And then once they get going, it's obvious. They're going and they're chugging along and it's nice. Yeah, I'm starting to enjoy lagers. First few, I was a little off put, should we say, just a little. But let's go right into this. Number 1, first of all, your fermentation's going and it's starting to slow down, but you know it's not done. You got that tilt floating in there or something. You're like, come on, baby, I need a few more points. Agitate, agitate, agitate. Probably the most common way of getting that yeast and rousing that yeast back up and saying, come on, eat a little more sugar, please, finish it off. That is also a great way I've learned recently. Flavoring, if you got hops in there, just keep shaking that bad boy. So I did that recently with the pumpkin beer and came out great. Number two, raise the temperature. You're like, oh my gosh, you know, I just need a few more points, come on. And I almost always do it. I keep my, like a ale, let's say, most of them around 68. And then as I'm getting on those last few points, I'll bring it all the way up to about 72, based on the yeast, of course. And I'll do about a degree a day or a degree every half a day until it gets up there. And it usually cranks out those last few points. So raising the temperature a few degrees is always an option. Just be careful. You need to know what the temperature is of the wort, not the ambient room, the wort. That's where something, like I said, a tilt hydrometer, wrapped pill, something like that comes in handy so you know what the temperature is. There are also temperature probes you can use. Number 3, not enough nutrients. Okay, although I would think you're using yeast nutrient, which I've done in the past with mixed results, most of the yeast companies actually recommend, if you feel like you didn't get enough nutrients in there, to use a yeast energizer. It's not quite the same thing, a little different buildup of chemical, mineral, whatever you want to call it. They're not the same. They're similar, but they're not the same. I'll let you read. That's another video. One I've always done. Number 4, pitch more yeast. I mean, if you under-pitched, yeah, that can be a bad thing. Pitch more yeast. And if you don't have more yeast, you know, you might have to use a different yeast. Maybe not the yeast you used. Maybe you can't run down to the store. There's a lot of people out there that don't have local homebrew shops. You can't just order it. So hopefully you have a spare yeast, whether it's dry, liquid. I mean, I have pretty much every brand and a little different variety from each brand of yeast, you know, from my Nottingham to my Farmhouse to some White Labs, you know, Lallemand. I got it all out there. So yeah, pitch a different yeast. I mean, you might have wanted to go for a West Coast IPA, and it might be a Belgian IPA, but it'll at least finish fermenting and it will taste good. Hopefully, it just may not be what you wanted it to taste like, but yeah, pitch more or a different yeast. Number 5, you can't get it cool enough, and you pitched a lager, you're sitting at 64, 68 degrees, you just can't get it cool enough. That yeast has already given up. You pitch a yeast that can handle the warmer temperatures. If you're up in the, low 70s, high 60s, you could probably get away with an ale yeast. If you're down here in Florida trying to ferment this thing in your garage, it's summertime and it's like 95 degrees in your garage, if not 105. Yeah, a Kveik yeast. I mean, come on, pitch the yeast that's appropriate for those temperatures. It may not be, like I said, what you really want it, but it might be what you can do, and you can still make great beers. Number 6, too cold. Yeah, that's right. A lot of people up north, you got those basements and you can't keep it warm enough, or it's costing too much to keep it warm. That ale yeast fell out, flocculated, went to the bottom and said, we're sleeping, we're done. Go ahead, throw a lager yeast in there. Pitch a yeast appropriate for the temperature. And yeah, I made that number 6, so that's 2 right there. Number 7, you're getting about halfway down through the fermentation and it's just not finishing. Pitch a bug. I know some noobs are out there going, what's a bug? What's a bug? A Brett. Yeah, it's the whole bacterial type setup. But yeah, let that chomp away. I mean, it might be a little funky afterwards, but that funky might be great compared to something that was going to be overly sweet. Number 8. This is that famous one. Even Brewlosophy did it and checked it and said, hey, this actually helped bring a lower final gravity. Crushed Beano. And I know right now people are like, are you kidding me? And I think he used 5 crushed Beanos for a 5-gallon. And I want to say he got about 5 points lower final gravity in the one with the Beano versus the one without. If you don't have Beano and you have some of this sitting around, same stuff. The only difference is Beano has a little sugar coating on the out to add a little bit more simple sugars. But yeah, Glucoamylase, it'll help break down certain chains of complex carbs and make them more fermentable, and that might be all it needs to get that yeast going and finish off a little bit more of the other sugars. So, number 9, I put this one in for entertainment. Pray, beg, or cry, whatever works for you. I mean, if we've ever had a stuck fermentation, I know I'm like, oh, come on, please. Yeah, I probably do everything but cry. I'm like, really? Come on, you can do it. And if I get really frustrated, that's when I start pitching to other yeasts, and I'm like, I'll throw everything I got at it. I want it to get through there. I want it to be done. Luckily, I don't go through that very often anymore. That was something I used to deal with a lot, and I was learning. But hey, I had a lot of fun, and I made some cool beers that I didn't expect, but it's all good. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Definitely appreciate it. And cheers. Thank you.